Guys, today we're going to do section 9.4, which is graphing linear functions. Now, we talked about functions yesterday and how we have a relation with what I put in and what I get out. Here we're talking about linear functions, and a linear function is a graph that makes a straight line. So for every variable that I have, I will get one answer for, okay? And also my variable will not have a power to it. So it's not going to be like x squared. It's just going to be x, okay? Now, it is impossible to list all the ordered pairs in a linear function because it is a line. And so there's infinite number of points. So that's what a linear function is, okay? Take a look here. And here I have two functions, okay? It's a function because what I put in, I will get one answer for y4, okay? But here's the difference. This is a linear function because it's to the first power for my x. This is not, okay? So this is the only linear function. Now remember how yesterday we talked about function notation. Now function notation is the exact same thing. It's just a fancy way of writing our y. So this here is the same equation as that, okay? And that's one thing important to notice when we go through our assignment today. Okay, so here we go, okay? How do I tell if I'm given coordinates? How do I know if it's a true solution for a function? Okay, and so what I'm going to do is put my x value into the equation for x, and then I'm going to put my y value in for the equation. And then each side of my equation has to be equal to each other. Okay, so example 3 equals 3. Those are both sides that are equal to each other, so then I would know those coordinates that gave me those answers was accurate for it. So let's go ahead and do some examples here, okay? So the first example I have is this coordinate -2 and -1. I want to know if that is really a solution. And what do I mean by solution? Is this a point that is really on this line here? Y equals 3x plus 4. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take my equation, y equals 3x plus 4, and now I'm going to insert my coordinates here. Remember, x always comes first, and the y is the last one here. So we're going to do our math over on the right side and see if it truly equals -1. 3 times a -2 gives me -6. -6 plus 4 gives me an answer of -2. Well, is -1 equal to -2? No, it's not. So this first example, -2 and -1 is not a solution. Okay, because I needed this to equal each other for it to be a solution. So let's try the next example here. Here I have that same equation here, y equals 3x plus 4. Now I'm going to insert these values. X always comes first. Okay, and my y value is over here. Let's do our math. 3 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. This equals each other, so this is a solution. Okay, so a solution for a linear function means that this point will lie on the line and that the x and the y will make this a true statement where they're equal to each other. Okay, so let's go on here, okay? Now, to graph a linear function, we need to know at least 2 points on the graph. We need to know the 2 endpoints. So what I'm going to do is use my equation, and I'm going to choose any x values that I want. And I'm going to put those x values into the equation so that I can find the y value. Once I get those 2 coordinates, I can go ahead and graph those coordinates, connect the lines, the points, and I've got my linear line there, my linear function graphed. So let's do some practice with it, okay? My first example here says find 3 ordered pairs, okay? We're being safe here. We're given 3 pairs. of ordered pairs. And honestly, I only need to have 2, but our problem is asking for 3, so we're going to do that. Now, we're going to choose whichever x's we want. Here's the thing. A helpful hint, choose small ones, okay? Do not choose huge numbers like 8 and 10 to put in, because this is going to make a huge graph if you choose 10, okay? So you want to choose your x and y, just your x's, your x coordinates wisely so that you can graph it easier. So because they're asking for 3, let's go ahead and let's do points. Oh, let's do 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, those are pretty small. I could have even chose -1, 0, and 1. Okay, so now we're going to put these into our equations. And so one way a lot of people like to do is set up a little table. Okay, and so they're going to make 3 columns here. Okay, the x is going to be my first one, so I do 0, 1, and 2. And now I'm going to do my work in the middle section. This is the actual equation here. So I'm going to go 5 times 0 minus 8 and write down the answer. Well, 5 times 0 is 0. 0 and a -8 is -8. Now insert my 1 and do my math now. I get 5. 5 minus 8 gives me a -3. And then I'm going to do the same for 2. And I get 10 minus 8, which is 2. Now we're going to go ahead and make ordered pairs for this. So my x comes first, and then I have my y value. There's my x, and there's my y, x, and y. Now these are the 3 coordinates I need to graph now. So I'm going to grab my coordinate plane here, and I'm going to just simply plot the points. So I have where x is 0. Now I go down to where y is -8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put a dot here. So there's my first point. My next one is 1 and -3. And then the last one is where x is 2 and y is 2. Okay, now I would grab a straight edge and I would graph the line, but of course I did not grab a straight edge before we began this video, so we're going to kind of wing it there. But that is the linear function of 5x minus 8. Okay, it is a straight line, supposed to be a straight line that connects those 3 points. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one last example here. And our last example says, find 3 ordered pairs for the equation -x plus 7, and then graph. So we're going to do the same thing again, but this time let's choose, here's my equation, here's my y, and let's choose -1, 0, and 1. Okay, so put this in here. And remember, 2 negatives side by side turn to a positive. So 1 plus 7 is 8. I have 0 that I put in here. And that is 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and put -1 in here, plus 7, and I end up with 6. Now create my ordered pairs. X always comes first. Do the same for the second x, and do the same for the third. And now I'm going to go ahead, graph this, where x is -1, and I am going to go up to where it is 8 and put my dot here. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and where x is 0, go up to 7 and put a dot there. And then I'm going to go where x is 1 and put a dot for 6, connect my 3 points. That's a little bit better there. And there is my linear function of y equals -x plus 7. Okay, guys, take it carefully as you work through it. Be careful with your negative signs. If you have any questions, text or email me.